I'd like to welcome everyone to the 27th public hearing of the Royal Commission into Violence, Abuse, Neglect and Exploitation of People with Disability.
It's 1,100 days since the Disability Royal Commission held its first public hearing, but it's day one in Perth.
Considerable attention will be given during the hearing to issues arising from the Banksia Hill Detention Centre.
The first witness will tell the Commission about her son and his friend, who both spent time at WA's only youth detention centre.
I will be sharing some very raw, unadulterated information, and it's not going to be sugar-coated. They were teenagers. They were teenagers with disabilities, and they were treated like animals.
First witness today is Jasmine. She will read the statement of Nathan, who refers to her as his mother.
Nathan is a Noongar man with ADHD, now 23 years old and still incarcerated. He's asked Jasmine to share his story.
When I was about 12 or 13 years old and I was in Banksia, I broke my finger playing football. The guards took me to the hospital. When we got to Banksia, the guards opened the paddy wagon doors, and as soon as I stepped out, the officer hit me and winded me. He pushed me into the sand and called me a little black dog. He punched me in the back 15 or 16 times.
Jasmine's biological son, Mason, has learning disabilities. In 2017, both boys spent extended periods in an isolation unit as punishment for their behaviour.
Mason was put into the Harding unit on the night of the 4th of May 2017. He spent 406 consecutive days in the isolation unit.
Isolation tactics still feature at Banksia Hill. Earlier this year, a judge described the treatment of an Aboriginal teen who'd been locked inside an isolation unit for 79 days as inhumane. The same child, who has disabilities, was among more than a dozen children moved to a unit at Casuarina Adults Prison in July after damaging their cells.
There's some that have cognitive impairment. There's mental health disabilities and so forth. It's very real. With their family.
Megan Cracker knows many of the children inside Casuarina Prison, some of whom have required hospitalisation since their transfer after attempting suicide.
And it really hurts when some of these children aren't getting the specialised care for their illnesses, for their challenges.
Next month, WA government officials responsible for the state's corrections facilities will also be called to give evidence at the Royal Commission. But this is not the only government under the Commission's microscope, with stories of alleged abuse and neglect also emerging on the other side of the country.
I feel excited about the opportunity to tell my story. A little nervous, but yeah, I'm very excited about being able to do this.
Brisbane woman Diane Lyons lives with muscular dystrophy. Without her support workers, life is almost impossible. So life inside prison with the progressive disease was excruciating.
Every day at 6 p.m, they would take my wheelchair off me and leave me stranded on the bed. So I couldn't go to the toilet or go to the shower or anything. Or magazines and 2 newspapers.
Diane told the Commission that at times she went days without being showered and that no disability modifications such as handrails were ever installed in her cell.
Out of desperation, one night I got off the bed onto the floor and urinated in the shower. I was desperate. But then I couldn't get back in the bed. So it was just insane.
She also described being dropped by staff when they were moving her out of her wheelchair.
How did that make you feel emotionally when you were dropped?
At one stage, At one stage, I thought they were trying to kill me, actually.
Diane served close to 4 years of an 8-year sentence in 2 women's prisons in southeast Queensland.
It was pretty harrowing, I guess, is the word you'd say. Very disappointing as a human being.
Diane was released on appeal in 2021 and her conviction was quashed. Because she's facing a retrial, she can't talk about the charges against her. In the meantime, she's living in disability-supported accommodation, heavily reliant on care provided through the NDIS.
I'm really pleased that there is a Royal Commission. You know, I'm sure they'll give good recommendations across the board. I just hope that the organisations involved and the institutions take it on board. I really hope that that happens.